Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. We're watching a clip of First Things First, talking about LeBron James on Steph Curry and comparing him to Patrick Mahomes. Let's take a listen, and then we'll break it down from there.
Like this Steph Mahomes comparison.
I do. It's right on the money. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Now, Steph changed the game. We know stylistically. I don't know if he's single. I guess LeBron's saying because Steph changed the game and now three-pointers are so prominent, that's why no lead is safe. But with Mahomes, 13 seconds isn't safe. Before that 13-second drive, no one ever would have thought you could win a game like that or come back in 13 seconds. And now it's mainly Mahomes. He's obviously the face of it. But most quarterbacks now, a minute left, 45 seconds left just to drive and get a field goal, like that is viewed as, oh, they got plenty of time left. And now the other team has to, worry about the clock and how, so yeah, I think it's right on the money.
So I kind of agree with you. I want to give credit. I think the first quarterback to make it feel like if he got the ball back, no matter how much time was left, he was going to find a way was Brady.
Yes.
Brady, to me, I think Mahomes is going to end up being better at it than Tom, and he already, if you look at percentage of opportunities was on up to this point, he's on a far better pace. But to be fair to Tom was the guy that it felt like always came through in those moments, and in a way that Peyton did it, that Aaron didn't, that Big Ben, the other great quarterbacks of his era. Where I do think this comp is accurate, I just think we haven't had enough time to see it yet, is just like Steph changed the way you watch AAU or high school or college basketball is played as far as range threes. I think more of the off-platform arm angle, run around, make the play downfield rather than play with your legs, you are going to have an influx of, and Caleb is the first one to play. And I know Aaron Rodgers did that to a degree, but that was a long time between Aaron and Mahomes. And so I think he is going to change the way the quarterback position is played for a lot of guys as the league moves away from the statuesque pocket passers and more to the athletic quarterbacks, where you see guys play a lot. And it's like, oh, he's a poor man's Patrick Mahomes. Oh, he's...
Yeah, but that's not because of Patrick Mahomes. So you're affording all of this to Patrick Mahomes, and that's just not fair. Because Lamar Jackson has nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen has nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes. Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb, Aaron Rodgers, Steve Young. So we were already, the football was already, Russell Wilson originally was already transitioning to these more mobile, quarterbacks in that regard, and more than just, you either just run and rip off a run or just kind of scramble and throw. So, yes, Patrick Mahomes right now is the most successful at it, but he did not shock the NFL, and people were now like, I didn't know football could be played like that, because we already are seeing all of these other players doing it. Steph Curry did things that no one had ever done. The amount of threes that he was taking and where he was taking shots that you absolutely got benched for, that you just straight up got benched for, or that you only took when there was 1 second left. You could kind of say that about Patrick Mahomes, that he was making throws that they say, oh my God, you would get benched for. But the reality is that you had seen other players do it. Maybe not as well as Patrick Mahomes, but he wasn't necessarily the first. Go look at some Brett Favre throws. They're outrageous. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. And again, you already have Josh Allen being able to do just unbelievable things. Lamar Jackson can do unbelievable, insane things. Nobody can come close to what Steph Curry can do. It's not even close. Steph Curry is undeniably the greatest shooter that has ever lived, and second place isn't even remotely in his atmosphere. It's just not even close. Patrick Mahomes is elite. Patrick Mahomes is amazing. Patrick Mahomes is great. Patrick Mahomes is one of the best to ever do it and can very well retire as the best to ever do it. But there are a lot of the things that Patrick Mahomes can do that makes Patrick Mahomes, jump out of the screen. A lot of other quarterbacks can do it. What makes Patrick Mahomes so special is that he consistently does the little things and the less impressive things correctly and consistently does them, and that's what I always say about Patrick Mahomes is it's not so much the Mahomes magic. He has done less over the years. He throws for less touchdowns, less yards. He does less crazy plays, but he does he makes the right play when he needs to. And so that's why when you're comparing Steph to Mahomes, it's not really a fair comparison. Now, with all that said, I think that Mahomes will retire and be a greater player to the NFL than Steph Curry is to the NBA. But I think, and this is what I was saying in the comment section to someone actually either today or yesterday, but I think that Steph Curry will retire as, again, the greatest shooter, but I'm not so sure, in which now, I'm not saying the greatest player, I'm saying the greatest shooter, so it's a very specific skill, that I'm not so sure that what Mahomes retires as, what is he the greatest at? Because again, what makes Patrick Mahomes so great is the collectiveness of all the skills. I think in terms of the crazy, insane plays, he's actually second to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson actually does more insane, wild plays. Lamar Jackson's also just faster. But Patrick Mahomes can make the right play at a significantly higher, rate than Lamar Jackson. And so therefore, Mahomes is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. And I don't think it's really that particularly, close, quite honestly. But so it's just like, I'm not sure. Patrick Mahomes doesn't necessarily have the best arm. He's not necessarily the most accurate. He's not necessarily the fastest. He's not, it's like, so it is interesting because it's kind of like he's 90% at every single quarterback attribute, which then makes him, 100% quarterback. When you have some of these other quarterbacks that do 100% of a specific attribute, whether it be speed or accuracy or whatever, but then they're like 85 at something else and 90 at something else and 70 at something, and so that makes them a lesser quarterback. So to me, and I think it's a very underrated aspect of Patrick Mahomes' game is his consistency. It's just that he makes the right throw at the right time exactly when you need it. And when you do need him to be magical, when you do need him to do all the cool, fancy Patrick Mahomes stuff, he can do it. But when he was relied on to doing that all the time, they suffered. There's a reason why Patrick Mahomes is not doing Patrick Mahomes magical things 10 times a game and throwing for 5,000 yards and 1 million touchdowns like he did early on in his career. Because it's proven that they're better and they can win more and win championships when he does less of that. That's just the reality. If that wasn't the case, then Patrick Mahomes would still be throwing for all those yards and would still be doing that. I mean, he's literally won, Super Bowls, barely even cracking 200 yards here, okay? With Steph, the magic is pretty much always there, and the Warriors always rely on that magic. And, again, his 3-point shooting and just his shooting in general is so insane, is on such a different level that I'm really not sure what the comparison is for, the quarterback position. I really just off the cuff is if Lamar Jackson was won, 3 or 4 Super Bowls, and it was like he was just so much faster than everyone else that you're just like, this is the fastest quarterback we've ever seen. and he rushes for like 100 yards a game, right? I think that's actually maybe the best example is if Mahomes or say like a Lamar Jackson consistently rushed for 90 to 100 yards every single game, right? Like they were truly the leading rusher every single game, 100 plus yards, and they won, 2, 3, 4 Super Bowls, then I would say, okay, that comparison actually makes a little bit more sense because they're truly next level elite and doing something that we have never seen in the history of the game. I think that's where it is, and that's how it all lands. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours on this one. Where do you think Steph and Mahomes, where do you think this comparison lies? Do you think LeBron James is right to kind of, compare them to the two? Do you think Steph has had a greater impact or Mahomes has had a greater impact on their sport? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing as we are building an amazing community here. And I would absolutely love to see you part of it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much and see you next time.